Air Force One lands in Senegal, and U.S. President Barack Obama begins his 8-day trip to Africa aimed at strengthening business opportunities and promoting democracy. Obama is taking his whole family on the trip that will see him make stops in Tanzania and South Africa as well. Despite publicly declaring business and democracy to be the key themes on his return to Africa, the United States military, barely mentioned in the context of Obama's trip, is also quietly returning to the continent. Back in February, Obama told Congress that the Pentagon had deployed drones and 100 troops to operate them to Niger so they could be flown over Mali and share information with France. Some analysts believe that the U.S. wants to be a major player in Africa.
I think that the deployment in February 2013 of the drones corresponds with the idea that Americans think there is a need for them to support the efforts by the international community, including France, but also the African Union and Economic Community of West African States in Mali.
Since the rise of Islamist extremism in the Sahel region of Africa, Washington has begun to focus on counterterrorism right across the continent. In Nigeria, where the Al-Qaeda-linked Boko Haram regularly claims attacks in the country's north and is trying to impose Sharia law, the U.S. has begun sharing intelligence to help governments counter the jihadist group. Analysts say the U.S. presence in Africa still pales in comparison to some other Western countries.
I think that the Sahel zone has been the object of increasing attention since the 2000s from the American army, but still their effective presence has been limited, especially if you look at, since the beginning of the year, the increased presence of the French army, and in certain months the deployment of 12,000 men from the United Nations, and equally the African presence in Mali.
There are currently between 4,000 to 5,000 U.S. personnel on the ground in Africa, meaning the United States now has more troops on the continent since its humiliating 1994 withdrawal from Somalia. And with Obama meeting leaders this week, there could be more troops on the way.